insane. Everybody want to know my name. Yeah, here comes the glass road. Yeah, here comes the glass road. In the video I posted earlier this morning about farming, and it was called Farm or Die, I didn't get all the way to what I was hoping to get to, which was talking about having a correlation between property taxes and food that you've grown or fuel consumption. Like, I am a person that believes in computers, and I'm a person that believes that when you purchase fuel, I can know about it. And I'm a person that wants to know how much fuel you're using as an individual American. And I'm a person that thinks that we can do a basic estimate based on the things that you purchase. And if you're spending a lot of money on fuel, you should have to give me all your money. You should give the government all your money. And if you're a person who is like me, I haven't driven this year at all, except to buy weed, because the government forces me to go drive what's the furthest I've driven for weed? Twice a month, 7 hours. And 3.5 hours both ways. And that was the entire time I'm in Colorado, pretty much. If not, then I'm driving to Denver. If not, I'm driving to Pueblo. Both drives are 2 hours there and back, 1 hour each way. So the government, who did not release COVID-19, trust me, it wasn't Jared Kushner. It wasn't. He's been encouraging people to grow gardens. No, he hasn't. Jared Kushner thinks that would hurt property values. That would hurt the stock market. We just need to kill people instead. I don't get it. I just don't get the way that people are. So I think that your entire the way you're taxed. Say that you're a super rich person that doesn't want to get taxed a lot, and you were wondering what it would have been like for me as president. For you, would you get taxed at all if you grew a garden and walked everywhere and rode a bicycle? Say you lived in, say that you lived near Mendocino, downtown Mendocino, and you could always walk to town. And or say you lived in a part of Chicago where you always walk to the grocery store with your shopping cart, and you consume such a small amount of fuel. You never fly on planes and stuff like that. You would have a massive, and you had very few kids. You would have a very, very, very low tax situation. I think that right now the government gives you tax incentives to have children. I would give you tax incentives to not have children, and I think that's one of the reasons I did a really bad job running for president. All I'm saying is that I think we need to set up the tax system, at least maybe the property taxes system, to have a relationship with your garden. Do you have a garden? Yes. How big is your garden? It's this. Okay. How many times did you harvest this year? Okay. It's kind of a weird thing, but for taxes, it's oh, that's an easy question. That's not asking me about what 506-793's calculation says. For taxes, that's oh, how many harvests did I have? I had one. I harvested a pretty decent amount of food. And if you meet the harvest requirements, then your taxes would be lower. So I think that taxes should have a relationship with whether or not you're a good person. I think whether or not you're a good person has nothing to do with you being a weird sexual person, with you being polite. You can be the biggest recluse who's the rudest person, who no one likes because you're a fucking asshole, but you grow your own food and you leave people alone. You're a good person to me. You mind your own business. What's a bad person? A bad person is the person who won't change out someone's car and sends 30 people to follow him on his 7-hour trip to go buy marijuana, and who is so certain that he should not be allowed to grow weed. He should not be allowed to stop driving 7 hours to buy marijuana. How much weed am I gonna have? I think I'm gonna end up with 3 years worth after my final harvest. That's what I'm hoping for. 3 years worth for me is 6 pounds. I think I do 2 pounds a year, and I might do more than that. But for me, I would really like to have 3 years worth. So does that mean I'd have 3 years worth of pesticide-free marijuana because I decided to break the law and say fuck the police? The police are controlled by the mafia. The police are in Colorado, like a very, very corrupt entity. Like when I say that, like when I say fuck the police and I grow on my own, like I'm having healthy marijuana for 3 years that's high quality. And also I'm doing genetic research. I'll maybe make a video later on my genetics research that I'm doing with marijuana. All right, so the government needs to set up a tax system that that gives you money for growing your own food. Like it might the tax system might look at how much you spend on groceries. Literally, I believe credit card companies can do AI. They can look at they can figure out how much you're spending on food very easily. But once you start calculating in drinks, it gets difficult. But can you still figure out the food without the drinks? Say that I go to a restaurant and I spend $70 on one person and me, and that would be $35 a person. But the maximum price of a meal at that restaurant is $19. What can you figure out? The rest of it's alcohol and tip and stuff. So I think that we could like have computers not so much as invade your privacy as calculate a carbon emission score or calculate an environmentalist score, and once it calculates that number, you're told what that number is, and you are allowed to dispute it, because like there would be very, very clear parameters for the AI's calculation of your score. Is it AI? It's not. It's a computer program that is almost AI, that gives you a score based on how good of a person you are. How good of a person am I now? I haven't driven my car for a year. So like I've been living off leftovers. Like I have this massive stockpile of food, and that's the only reason I'm okay. My mom won't buy milk. You understand my mom? Like she's spiting me because I wouldn't give my dad cereal. But the thing is, like I have to use my milk for creamer. So like I'm very happy with that much milk right now because it's the only reason I have cream in my coffee. And my mom's so mad at me for like not letting my dad have milk that she won't buy milk now. So my dad's living off powdered milk. And like she goes to the store and I was like, you didn't buy milk? And she's like, it completely like went over my head. I completely forgot. She's lying. She's just trying to be a bitch to me. That's the thing about her. Like she does not care whatsoever about how much money I spend. She 100% cares about whether or not like I'm asking her for money all day. Like I'm ranting on the side, but that's the way my mom is. Like all she wants is me to ask her for money all day, and I'm done asking her for money. And that's why I'll boil noodles and put butter on them. Like that's what I'm living off now. Like once I'm out of milk, once I'm out of sauce, I get to that point that I'm boiling noodles and putting butter on them, and I don't mind at all. That's what my mom doesn't get about me. Like I will not ask her for money anymore. She wants me to beg her for money. I've been begging her for money for 25 years while I'm helping her for free. Like it's the biggest fucking nightmare in the world. Like she's a person that like is fucking evil. Like she is like Fox News. She's fucking Franklin Graham that owns all the drug farms. Like I'm just saying, like Franklin Graham like I think he's a very bad person. I think Franklin Graham thinks he's a good person. He's a bad person. She's a person who thinks she's a good person. I don't care. All right, I'm out of here. All I'm saying is the government needs to create a different tax system that uses computers, and like you should be told in advance what your environmentalist score is, and your environmentalist score probably should be from the previous year, and it carries over, and you're allowed to change it. Like based on your behavior, but COVID-19 is going to work.